This is the visualization when facing ostracism. So find a comfortable place to sit or lie down, close your eyes, and begin connecting with your breath in and out of your nose, or relax any way you need to. Uncross your legs, your arms, unless you're seated in a cross-legged position. Ostracism is one of our greatest fears. And if we don't know that word too intimately, it's when we are kicked out of the club and we're abandoned, left out, excluded, pushed out. And at one time, our need for survival depended on being able to avoid ostracism. So generationally speaking, this is in the cells of our bodies as a memory in the spiritual DNA that we share, as a very real threat to our physical survival. At one time, a long time ago. Now, in your present life, you may feel as though your physical survival is dependent upon staying in the club, in the good graces of keeping that job, that friend, that relationship. Because a part of you feels like you're going to die without it. Or you don't know what that would look like without that. It's so far outside of the familiar that it could terrify you. It's outside the comfort zone. And I don't mean comfort zone by something that feels warm and fuzzy, but comfortable, familiar, reliable. And sometimes that's an addiction to traumatic pain, dysfunction, misalignment. We're so used to that reality. Anything that threatens it feels like a personal threat to our physical survival. But the reality is that ostracism, if we look at our lives and look at times when we were pushed out of a group, or we left the group because it didn't feel right, or somebody ended a relationship with us, and pain and grief, uncertainty accompanied this. But then with time, we realized that it was actually a gift in disguise. This is the wisdom of those twists and turns that we cannot predict. This is the reward for when we have the courage to step outside of something that no longer is in alignment. I want you to think about something in your life connected to this theme. Maybe it's something that you wanted and that was taken away from you. And so you experience some sort of rejection or form of exclusion. Or maybe another example is you having to step away, change gears, shift focus or direction, facing that road less traveled. And yeah, it made all the difference, but it's terrifying not knowing what the next step is. However you relate to this in your life right now, under the uncertainty, the uncomfortability of ostracism, exclusion, rejection, abandonment, and it might be old roots of this that go back to childhood. There's always a fear. There's always some sort of resistance, trying to control something or force an outcome, avoid something else, make this happen. So in this moment, maybe you can put your finger right on that fear. I'm afraid of this happening. I'm afraid of this never happening. Afraid of becoming this or never becoming that. Afraid of losing this or getting that. Maybe you can put your finger on it. And if you can't, just notice the energy of it in this area. Connect with your breath more consciously as you do this. Feeling the peace of this moment. And that as your soul is moving in your body through your life, experiencing things in and out of your control, the soul on a conscious and unconscious level is pulling things into your life and moving things out of your life in order to keep you moving in the direction that you want to go at soul level. Now, the ego might be holding on and fighting tooth and nail to go the other direction, to get back to the familiar, to what you knew, what you could control, what was seemingly profitable or rewarding or safe. And yet this other thing has emerged. As you breathe in this moment, recognize the relationship between your body and your breath. Are you breathing the breath, or is the breath breathing you? There is a relationship either way. And then think about the co-creation of this. That if you didn't allow the breath to move in and out of your body, you wouldn't be alive. And then your relationship to taking care of yourself, like a mother to a child. Having this co-creative energy with that part of yourself that can nurture you, and then that part of you that receives that nurturing and that co-creative energy. And then think about your physical reality of being in a human form with the 5 senses. And then also being connected to something that we can't put our finger on. This oneness, expansion, universal consciousness, God, love, truth, oneness. And that these two energies of your separate human 5 sensory self and your expansive, universal, unlimited oneness self coming together in co-creation called life. This yoking together of oneness and separateness is an intimacy of coming home to you that provides a space of safety for you, regardless of anything external that may be happening. Can you feel, as you're breathing, the intimacy between your human self and your spirit self merging with unshakable intimacy? That any sort of ostracism from the outside world, any abandonment, any rejection or alienation feels very small in comparison with the deep level of merging happening with you. As you breathe, feel that sealing together of those two parts of you, merging to come home to a place where there is nothing wrong, there is nothing right, there is just being here and now in the present, experiencing your breath in this life, in this world. And in that higher seeing place, where we have that higher perspective, look at that same area of your life. And with the wisdom of that old sage within you, the mother and the sage protecting you, reminding you that all is unfolding beautifully, to put your faith into trusting that the outcome that is on its way is better than you could have ever dreamt it. For what you believe manifests. Be conscious of your belief. Trust that any shift in direction or door closing is a blessing, sometimes very much in disguise, wrapped in a lot of pain and grief, anger, upset, frustration. But in the chaos of all of those feelings, as we feel them, births a new beginning, a clear day. The air is always the freshest after a storm. Breathe in that clarity. Trust in the intimacy and the merging of you. And begin to come back slowly, wiggling your fingers and your toes and rocking your head gently side to side or moving your tongue. And when you're ready, slowly come back and open the eyes.